the conversation on Caitlin Clark just doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop. Okay, we're talking about it all the time. And once again, leading the top of the hour with another Caitlin Clark topic. Caitlin Clark didn't make the U.S. women's national team for the upcoming Olympics. Some people are outraged. Some people are fine with her not making the Olympic team. And I'm sure there are some, and by some I mean a lot, of WNBA players that are quite pleased with the fact that Caitlin Clark didn't make the Olympic team. I'll be honest, because I am Indianapolis's honesty broker. I'm just going to tell you how I feel. And that's just, that's just the way that this works. I don't care. I don't care at all that Caitlin Clark was not selected to the Olympic team. Okay? Because even if Caitlin Clark had been selected to the Olympic team, there's no way that I was going to watch any of their games. No way. I doubt most people would have watched them play even if she made the team. Why do I say that? Because the United States women's national basketball team crushes everyone in the Olympics, in FIBA. Any sort of like country versus country thing, the United States women's teams, they seem to destroy everybody, especially in basketball. Okay, like the games aren't close. In 2016, they played in the gold medal game against Spain. They beat them by 29. The game wasn't close. In 2020, they won the gold medal game against Japan. They beat them by 25 points. Okay, they absolutely destroy, dominate, whatever words you want to put in there. They blast their opponent out of the building. They crush everybody that they play. So even if Caitlin Clark made the Olympic team, I might have watched the first quarter. I'd have sat down on my couch, been like, you know what? They aren't doing any of like the big time track stuff today. Let's watch some women's hoops. I'm like, oh, look at that. First quarter. Oh, they're up by 25. Let me watch literally anything else. Cause I'm not sticking around to watch a blowout. I don't care who's playing. I'm not. I'm like, it doesn't matter the sport. If it's a blowout, I'm not watching. Okay. And I think that's how most people operate. Like if the women's national team, like I don't think people are going to watch, not only because Caitlin Clark isn't playing, but also because none of the games are being close. Like they aren't. All right. With that being said, if my boss was here, he's on vacation. I need to have more of an opinion on this than it doesn't matter. Right? Like I should have more of an opinion, and I do. I'm of the opinion that they should have put Caitlin Clark on the Olympic team. Okay? Like it is not out of the ordinary for rookies to be placed on the Olympic team. The NBA has put collegiate players on the Olympic team before. 1992, the first dream team ever. They put Christian Laettner on the Olympic team. He wasn't the number one overall pick. It was Shaq that year. And, if there's any year to not put an incoming rookie on the Olympic team, it's 1992, the first year that the NBA could actually put their professional athletes on the Olympic team. Like that was the year to not put a rookie on the team, but they did it anyway. And it's kind of this recurring thing where the NBA puts younger players on the Olympic team, guys like Tyrese Halliburton this year and Anthony Edwards, right? Because you want to indoctrinate guys that are going to play for you in the future. You want to indoctrinate the guys that are going to be focal points of the league going forward. That way in 4 years, when they bring on new players, it's not a full new group of 12. You've got a couple guys that have been there before. That is what the WNBA should have done. Okay? Like they should have put her on the team for that reason alone, because she's going to lead this team at some point, and she needs to know what the schedule looks like. How does practice work? Are there any new different rules? Like you just want her to be normalized with it. And to make matters worse, Christy Brennan of CBS gave a quote that she got from some sources as to why they didn't put Caitlin Clark on the team. It's total crap. It's total crap. Here's the statement from Christy Brennan of CBS. Open quote, two other sources, both longtime U.S. basketball veterans with decades of experience in the women's game, told USA Today Sports Friday that concern over how Clark's millions of fans would react to what would likely be limited playing time on a stacked roster was a factor in decision-making. If true, that would be an extraordinary admission of the tension that this multi-million-dollar sensation who signs autographs for dozens of children before and after every game has caused for the old guard of women's basketball. The two people spoke on condition of anonymity because of the sensitivity of the matter. In other words, Caitlin Clark signs too many autographs. Okay, we got these WNBA players, these older women who've been in the league for a long time. They sit around and they're like, hey, everybody, please pay attention to women's basketball. Okay, they've been yelling it for years. Please pay attention to us. We are good at basketball too. That is what they've been saying for a long time. And, you know, the audience, people like you and me, we have sat around and we said, you know what? No, you guys aren't interesting enough. So we aren't going to give you our time. If you want us to give you our time, then just be more interesting. And here comes Caitlin Clark, someone that is making people pay attention. And the WNBA is like, hey, pay attention to us, but also that one player that you like and you want to pay attention to, she will not be here. We are not going to let her play with us because you guys like her too much. But please still watch us. Like that's what's happening right now with this Olympic team. Okay, this is a mistake that the WNBA and whoever runs, the U.S. women's basketball team is making. Part of why the NBA is so successful is because it's a global sport. Okay, Caitlin Clark has the ability, she has the opportunity, or she had, not anymore, she had the opportunity to grab people's attention on a global stage, and the WNBA turned that opportunity down. Okay, because the truth of it is, this, women's national team is going to thump everyone that they play. So why not have her on the team? In terms of results, it doesn't matter which WNBA players they choose. They could pick the 12 worst players in the league, and they would run through this tournament because, look, the U.S. women's team is leaps and bounds better than every other team across the planet. Okay? So it didn't matter who they chose, and they should have picked Caitlin Clark. She should have been on the Olympic team, but pettiness and drama has gotten in the way of the WNBA's success once again. And of course, Caitlin Clark was asked a million questions after practice earlier this week on not making the roster. She, of course, had comments on that. To open this audio clip, she's answering a question of just her reaction to not being selected, and then she answers several other questions. Here's Caitlin Clark on not making the Olympic team for this year's 2024 Summer Olympics.
Yeah, I think I'm excited for the girls that are on the team. I know it's the most competitive team in the world, and I know it could have gone either way of me being on the team, me not being on the team. So, I'm excited for them. I'm going to be rooting them on to win gold. I was a kid that grew up watching the Olympics. So, it'll be fun to watch them.
What was your level of disappointment not having hearing your name on the roster?
Honestly, no disappointment. Like, I think it just gives you something to work for. That's a dream. Hopefully one day I can be there, and I think it's just a little more motivation. You remember that, and hopefully in 4 years, when 4 years comes back around, I can be there.
Did you have a direct conversation with managing director over there at USAB recently?
Yeah, they called me and let me know, and before everything came out, which was really respectful of them, and I appreciated that. And they did the same for every girl that made the team or every girl that didn't make the team. There's a lot of players in the Olympic pool, so it wasn't like I was the only one they had to call. They had to make quite a few calls.
Are you looking forward to a break, from Olympic action? Basketball in general, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be really nice. I mean, I've loved competing every single second, but it's going to be a great month for my body to, first of all, like, get rest and get healthy and just get a little time away from basketball and the craziness of everything that's been going on, and, just find some peace and quiet for myself. But then additionally, like, a great opportunity for us to work and get better, a great opportunity for myself to get in the weight room, to work on the court and work at things that I want to get better at that I maybe didn't have time going from college to the pro season. So I'm looking forward to it. But at the same time, like we still have a month of games where we have a lot of opportunities to win a lot of games. So that's where my main focus is.
That was Fever star guard, the face of the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, on not making the U.S. Olympic team this year, which she should have made. I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world. She's clearly disappointed, though, in not making the Olympic roster. But once again, just a master at answering questions. She just does such a good job. She doesn't start crap. She doesn't respond to crap that other people start. She just wants to hoop. It's nice. It's refreshing. Okay, I like what she said about how, this is just now something for her to work towards. Like, that's a good outlook to have on it. And the other thing is that there is a bright side in this for Caitlin Clark. She finally gets to rest. Okay, the first game of her final college season at Iowa happened on November 6th, 2023. She is in her 8th consecutive month of intense, high-level basketball. It is. She needs a break. Doing anything at a high level for 8 straight months isn't easy. It wears on your body, especially with as physical as the WNBA is. She needs a break. And for reference, the NBA, the Mavericks, and the Celtics are now in their 8th straight month of playing basketball. They started a week or two before Caitlin Clark did. Like, that's a long time to be playing basketball. Okay, the Fever season is set to end late in September. That's, if they make the playoffs, they'll play into October. And if Caitlin Clark were to have made the Olympic roster, that would have been 11 straight months of high intensity basketball. It's like, well, Jonathan, you just said that they were going to blow everyone out. You don't think that those practices are going to be physical? They don't like her. If she was on the team, Diana Taurasi and those girls would, they would go after her in practice. They would. The documentary on the 92 Dream Team, they talk about their practices, and those practices were tough. Okay, so does it suck that Caitlin Clark isn't on the Olympic team? Yes, it does. Okay, is it the end of the world? Not really. Is it a good thing for her in the long run? Probably. Is it good for the Fever? Yes. For the Fever, it is a great thing that Caitlin Clark didn't make the Olympic team because, once again, she needs a break. And I know that there are people out there like, Jonathan, she's only 22. She's young. She's fine. She'll recover. Not a big deal. Look, even when you're 22 years old, your body still needs rest. Okay, especially if you're doing this much physical activity and you're getting bumped and held and all those things night in and night out. The difference is she doesn't need as much rest as like a 35-year-old. Okay, those 3 weeks for Caitlin Clark are going to be huge for her going forward. The rest is needed. It's well-deserved. Like, she doesn't need to be in Paris playing more basketball that most people are going to turn off when the U.S. team goes up by 30 points at the end of the first quarter anyway. This is the best thing for her, and this is the best thing for the Fever and for the rest of their season because they want to make the playoffs, and, they might be able to do that. The other thing, though, that I've taken away from this is that this news came at not the best time. I said the last week that Caitlin Clark is the most polarizing athlete we've seen since Tim Tebow. Everyone has an opinion on her. We talk about her all the time. Here I am, once again, Monday morning. This topic led my show, and it's leading my second hour because it's important. This is one of the biggest topics in the sports world right now. In addition to saying that Caitlin Clark is the most polarizing athlete we've seen since Tim Tebow, I also said that eventually that will be a bad thing. Okay, right now it is great exposure for the WNBA. They have never been talked about like this. They've never been focused upon like this. But eventually, people are going to get tired of the drama. Eventually, people are going to get Caitlin Clark fatigue. Okay, at some point, doesn't have to be right now. Probably needs to happen within the next several weeks, though. At some point, the conversation around Caitlin Clark needs to be about basketball. The issue is she just hasn't been good enough at the basketball part for people to talk about that. So people have resorted to talking about the drama and all these other things that are going on around her as opposed to her actual game. And she was finally great. Not good, not above average, not good for a rookie, legitimately great on Friday night against the Washington Mystic. On the road, they win by 2. Great game. Caitlin Clark finishes with 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. And she was efficient in the scoring. 8 of 15 from the field, 7 of 13 from 3. Like, that should have been my leading topic today. I should have been able to sit here and be like, Caitlin Clark was awesome on Friday night. Let's talk about it. That's what it should have been, but that wasn't it. That's not what I'm talking about. I went back on Saturday morning and I watched the whole thing because I missed some of it on Friday night. I watched the full game. She played a good game outside of the turnovers, but let's be honest, we don't care about the turnovers because she did all the things that we love. She made some impressive passes. She made some not so impressive passes. That's why she had 8 turnovers. But once again, we will ignore those. She hit a ton of threes. She hit a deep 30-foot sidestep 3. It was great. It was entertaining. It was everything that people wanted and expected for Caitlin Clark to be. And the issue is, if the continued trend of discussing the WNBA is fueled by drama, then people will eventually tune the WNBA out because they're just going to get tired of it. Like, I'm already getting kind of tired of it, but that's okay. It's the way it goes sometimes.